Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to today's panel discussion on AI in middle school computer science, reshaping what we teach, how we teach, and teacher readiness. I am Harshita Sinha, and I'm delighted to be the moderator of today's panel discussion. The three takeaways of today's session would be: firstly, you would take away the idea that how AI expands middle school computer science curriculum beyond coding. The second takeaway would be how AI-powered tools enable personalized learning, automated feedback, and project-based approaches. And the third takeaway, how educators can develop new skills and ethical awareness through targeted training and professional development. So, we are fortunate to have the three experienced leaders with us today as our panelists. Our panelists will now give their introductions. Firstly, I would like to invite Ms. Pallavi. Yes, Ms. Pallavi.
Thank you, Harshita, for giving me an opportunity to be a part of this panel discussion. So I'm Pallavi Malvi, and I'm currently working as a principal at Vidyakunj International School in Khandwa. It's in Madhya Pradesh, and I've been in the field of education for 10 years now. Gathered quite a lot of experience and have worked at various positions. Like I began as a teacher and then gradually learning, getting trained. I got promoted to the post of principal. Thank you. I think that's more than sufficient.
Okay, so we'll move ahead to Mr. Shailesh BC. Yes, Mr. Shailesh, please give your introduction.
Good evening. Thank you, Harshita, for inviting me for the panelist. Thank you for the invitation. Good evening, everyone. I am Shailesh BC, currently working as assistant professor in the Department of MCA, Mangalore Institute of Technology and Engineering, Mudebidre, which is in Karnataka. I teach mostly for postgraduate students, mainly focusing on major subjects on computer applications. Uh, Over the last 17 years, I am in this field of teaching, involving in shaping the emerging technologies, most likely with AI. Since I'm mostly interested on tools like AI and other contents, since recently we got DeepSeek introduced as an open source, and I'm a big fan of open source. As soon as they release open source LLMs, I directly installed on my laptop and tried out how it works, purely because to get an idea on what is privacy. That's where I really went direct from AI user to how the developer may work on. That's mainly with how I mostly interested in AI. Meanwhile, I teach for PG as well as UG students, mainly for B students, wherein my major interest will be on analytics, artificial intelligence, cybersecurity, and software design, mainly with programming and other contents. I mainly concentrate on how the students will utilize the AI for their betterment, not less like a copy and paste content. It should be utilized so that their curiosity, critical thinking will be increased and they use it very ethically. I believe that today's students will definitely utilize all the AI-driven tools, and we are just here to help them to bridge the gap between which is ethical and which is non-ethical. Thank you for the invitation.
Okay, moving ahead, we have Ms. Gayatri Vadavali. Ms. Gayatri, please give your introduction.
Hello, everyone. A very good evening to all of you. Thank you, Ms. Harshita, for the wonderful opportunity to be here today. I'm a AI and ML certified trainer from Raspberry Pi. I'm a Raspberry Pi certified trainer. So I'm a co-founder of BrainyBots EdTech Private Limited. So we do train school students for various international competitions like VEX Robotics, British International Education Association, STEM competition. So we took in past few years, we took so many schools and their children to various international competitions like Japan and Dubai and even UK. So and we are very proud to say that we have won awards wherever we went. And coming to my personal experience, my experience spans around various industries. For the past 15 years, I worked in banking, I worked in education, and I'm a certified entrepreneurship coach from Northeastern University as well. So and teaching is my passion, and we have done artificial intelligence and machine learning training for kids for so many schools spanning last 2-3 years. That's about me.
Okay, well said. Thank you all for being here, for sharing your insights with us. So, before we begin, I'd like to remind everyone that this is an open and interactive session. I'll ask a few questions from the panelists, and then we'll open the floor for audience questions, which will be at the end. So, as the session goes on, I request the audience to jot down their queries and ask us in the last 10 minutes. So, let's now dive in. My very first question is for Ms. Pallavi Vyas. What measures can school leaders adopt to make sure AI education in middle school isn't limited to coding but also builds broader skills for the future?
Yes. Now, when we talk about AI, generally what comes to parents' mind, if you talk about parents, is that it's using ChatGPT or coding, isn't it? That's the general thing that comes to their mind. Now, it's just not limited to coding. In our daily use, we have a lot of electronic appliances, a lot of gadgets that we are using, and everything has some internal AI built in it. Now, coding is when you create a guideline or a manual for any device to work the way you want to work. Okay. For example, you're using an electronic washing machine, then you have to create a sort of internal AI in that so that it mimics you. It will wash the clothes for you. You have to give certain instructions. So that is also AI. That is coding that has gone into that machine. But what nowadays parents think is that it's just coding that goes into AI, and my child should learn coding. He or she should just learn how to code for a device, how to communicate with that device. But you can also think about being a good user of the AI. There are a lot of applications, there are a lot of devices that are using AI, and you can be a good user of that. If we talk about the future skills, it's not just about coding it out, it's about critical thinking, it's about collaboration, it's about having different literacy skills. So there are applications out there which can help a student learn these skills, which we call 21st century skills nowadays. So I think it's just not just limited to coding. We can use applications like, for example, we use Canva, and in Canva, a student learns to incorporate graphics and pictures into a project or an assignment, and also learns to collaborate at the same time. If you use Padlet, a student learns to collaborate. There also a student can create a Padlet. There can be a question given by a teacher wherein the student would put his answers and then can put it forward for other students to collaborate and put in their opinions on the particular Padlet. So it's kind of teaching you collaboration. So it's not just coding that is important. You must learn how to be a good user of AI, how to be a good user of different applications and things available out there in the market to enhance your efficiency, to enhance your work. I hope that answers your question well.
Yeah, well said, Ms. Pallavi. I totally agree with you in the point that you are telling that these platforms are supporting not only the students to learn about coding, but also the 21st century skills.
Of course.
But I encourage you to prove your point that whether the students are aware that they are getting into this in this evolving, mindset with technology. Are the students aware of this? Are the parents aware of this in today's generation? Are they are most likely to learn more and more of AI because of this reason? Can you just share a few points?
Yes, of course. AI is everywhere nowadays, technology. We are having all this hybrid systems in teaching nowadays at schools. So it's everywhere. Technology has already taken occupied its space in education. And for example, in our school also we follow a hybrid system of education where we have physical classes as well as we use Google Classroom to support the online teaching. So even the parents nowadays, they have realized that a student, their child must know how to use technology because it's the future. If you're not well equipped with, if you have not learned how to use technology well, you won't be able to exist. You won't be able to stand in the future. So for the new generation, it's important, and the parents have equally realized this, that they have to embrace technology. Even the parents nowadays, we when we organize the PTMs, when we organize the parent orientation sessions, the parents, they are so eager to learn how to use the application that we are giving to the students for enhancing their learning. They're really open to learn how to use it. They give their time and inputs and their feedback. So I think everyone has very well understood this, that they have to learn it. Anyway, the future is it.
Yeah, very well said. So my next question is for Mr. Shailesh. How can AI tools help students use computer science in creative ways across subjects like art, science, and history?
Oh, thank you. Uh, Question here, the context mainly concentrate on how regular users of computer science can be for subjects like art, science, history, wherein we never thought of utilizing AI or simply in computer science, right? We normally think that computer science can be used only for the computer coding or any sorts which are related to computer. But here we can note that in the intersection of AI, we can integrate it anywhere. Like it can be like art, science, or history. Most often, everyone prefer utilizing art for their generating any artworks, analyzing some styles, or creating their own digital imprints. Like an example, my son is at 5 years old. He always like to draw anything on papers. Recently, I saw that he is using mobiles and laptops more rather than regular papers. So I thought of why can't I give him a pen tab so that he can draw it digitally? And I just told him that use this digital tool so that you will not be watching videos or some YouTube contents, rather than better to go on with digital content. So now he's just practicing those tools. I just gave him a regular tablet which is with digital content, pen tabs, so that he's using it like the hard way. Also, I told him there are plenty of tools, AI tools. I demonstrated them him with some tools like voice-based AI development, wherein he is able to understand what it is and he can build some tools by just click and drag. And he can also generate old photos and take away them with some AI tools, wherein this like old images can be made into colors by some tools. Just like the oldify AI can be used for digitizing your photos black and white to color. Those are all cases wherein AI can be easily utilized for art specifically. When it comes to science, most of us may be familiar with simulations of scientific experiments, analyzing data sets. There are plenty of AI tools which are from even Google, wherein we can just put in our images of kind, like some thing that I want to experiment with face recognitions. I can put out my images, feed them with data sets, then it can generate a model which can be just like a simple AI model for identifying face recognition. So those are the simple examples. Most often, science have more case studies to deal with AI. When it comes to history, everyone thinks that history may not be correlated with computer science, but definitely we can use it for AI-generated historical text contents or analyzing some languages and getting scripts out of them. Or sometimes it can be like give away some scripts and generate some interactive timelines with scriptings for history contents, dramas. Anything can be done with these AI tools. And most interesting is when we combine art, science, and history for most of the cases, it can be interdisciplinary learning, wherein we can build some project-based use cases utilizing all these available AI techniques for any student who are onto the AI interest. Hope this may elaborate the question with how computer science make the children's or any of learner to be creative with art, science, and history.
Yeah, very well said. Actually, all these points clearly tell us that how students are more and more getting towards computer tools in different subjects, not only in just coding and computers, but in art, science, and history. But sir, I would like to encourage you to prove that how these subject tools are also encouraging the 21st century skills. Can you just uh, elaborate little bit, on this point that it is also helping to build the 21st century skills like critical thinking and problem solving, like those.
Yeah. Normally, when we have one with most of the students, they feel that maths is a difficult content. but normally these math contents can be elaboratedly explained with simple animations or gadgets which can deliver more contents easily. One example is QMaths. They have a plenty of interactive live learning contents wherein we can utilize them and learn how the contents are mathematical contents can be rendered to the students. So normally the current trend is like they prefer digital content more rather than the textbook content. So if I have digital content with digital displays interactions, then they definitely learn faster than us.
Okay, so this enhances their speed also, right?
Yeah, definitely. Creativity and speed. They
Yeah,
know better answers
creativity.
than me.
Yes, yes, yes. Okay. Now, my third question is for Ms. Gayatri. From both a technical and teaching standpoint, what areas of AI are most valuable for middle school students to explore early on?
So it's a very nice question, Ms. Harshita, because I think, according to me, middle school is the best age to start introducing AI for the kids, because by then they would have formed some image of AI, how it, what it is, and what are the areas that they are already exposed to it a little. And at the same time, so they are more creative and they are open to learning at that point of time. So it's a best age to start giving introduction to AI. I think we should start with creating curiosity in them. Like they already have are curious about AI, but they already have a certain image. So we might have to rework on it, and they know AI as a application, but they don't know what goes behind it and how it is being so intelligent. So they should have a clear distinction between what normal intelligence is and what artificial intelligence is, how it is better or how it is not better. So that clear distinction, we should be able to give them that. And at the same time, so there are so many, we should encourage them to do more research on what are the applications that, like Miss Pallavi has already mentioned, like she has given an example of washing machine, like, right? So we should encourage them to come up with such examples. Like what are the areas that they already see that AI is already in work, but so we just ignore. We don't think that it is an AI. So okay, some technology it is working on, but we should encourage them to identify such technologies, such items which are already using AI into everyday life. And so we also should, I think we should start with that kind of introduction to the students, and slowly bring them to the different aspects of AI, like generative AI and different, how those are being used in regular life. Like Mr. Silas has mentioned, like how it is being used in art, how it is being used in history or any other aspects. So that also should be given as an example. We should encourage them to do more research. And how machine learning and AI are related, because when we are talking about artificial intelligence, obviously without machine learning it's incomplete. So what is machine learning and how it can be correlated, and what are the different methods, like what is how learning happens for AI. So all these things should be incorporated in their curriculum. And we should encourage also them to research more and explore more and come up with different examples in their daily life. And what are other things that they think that AI can do better. So we already know what are the things that AI is able to do now. At the same time, what all things that AI can do in future that they think can help the coming generations. That also gives them more insights into different applications of AI. And there are so many tools that we can do. We can encourage kids to try and explore, like machine learning for kids is one. So where they can take up a project and then work on it and then see how it is working. So not only the theoretical experience, because so nowadays kids, it's a very hard to keep them engaged for a longer period of time. So their attention span is very less. So instead of giving them lot of inputs in theory, so if we make them sit and understand, or do make them do a lot of projects, So then I think definitely they will have a clear understanding of how AI is being implemented and what is it, what is the background of it, and how machine learning is supporting it, and what kind of data can be taken. And we have seen this in our experience, because when we ask kids to sit and listen what machine learning is, what are the different models, and what is a model. So they've become very, very restless. So if you give them a task, so they're very wonderful at it. And I think that is the best way to do and deal with kids, to give them a task and explore it, and then through that they will learn a lot.
Yes, it's very well said, because we have to give a practical approach to them as well as a theoretical approach for the concepts. It should be a mixture of both, because we have to take care of their interests and readiness
Sure.
also. Yeah. Okay. So the next question is for Ms. Pallavi. How can principals support teachers in using AI tools to deliver personalized learning, timely feedback, and meaningful project-based experiences without adding to their workload?
That's a good question, Harshita. Because teaching is not an easy profession. Teachers have already got a lot of work to do. It's not just about being a sage on the stage or just going to the class and just saying whatever you want or reading out the textbook. It's not that. It's planning the entire lesson, delivering it well in the class, taking care of the formative assessments, taking care whether your lesson plan is working well or not, assessments, making quizzes, maybe summative or formative. And then it's about copy corrections. If it's a test or if it's your regular notes that you're giving, it again is a huge task for a teacher to correct the notes, to correct the copies properly, then prepare for the exams. There is so much to do. On the top of it, if you ask them to incorporate tech and use XYZ apps and do this and that, they will be reluctant towards it. So it is important for the leaders to find out ways in which a teacher will be comfortable using AI. And the first and the foremost thing that leaders can do is train the teachers, because they must understand that these applications available out there for lesson planning or preparing assessments are for
I think there's a technical glitch. Hello, Ms. Pallavi. Okay, so we will move ahead with the next question to Mr. Shailesh. We'll come back to Ms. Pallavi again. Okay, so the next question is, how can teachers use AI-powered tools to help each student learn at their own pace and in their own way?
Yeah. That's a great question, because uh, as a teacher, we normally start teaching rather knowing whether they are really learning or not. We directly start our teaching and we think that they are learning. But sometimes we need to pause out and check whether really they are learning at the end of the student life, right? So that's where we may need to teach them how AI can be utilized, so that if they are slow at learning, they can pick up their pace and move ahead with the learning. And with this, we have multiple AI tools which provide such adaptive learning techniques, wherein content can be rendered clearly onto the LMS, and LMS can track how the students are going through the learning aspects. When they are very slow learners, they can move at their own pace, learn it gradually, and when they practice it more, definitely they will be moving forward with their learning contents. And these AI tools can help a teacher with individual feedback given automatically rather than teacher in between. AI can give away individual feedback through the assignments which are submitted by students, or sometimes it can be a simple quizzes, a funny content quizzes which can be just like an exercise which can help the students to understand what are the mistakes they did, how they can improvise it. which are just like quizzes which opt some answers like this is where you made mistakes, please correct them. Next time when they give the quizzes, definitely they will never make those mistakes because it's an individual feedback and they are not ashamed of what the feedback was. And definitely they will go through learning with those same pace what they started on. And they can also have some gamification introduced into the learning, like any LMS. If I have a plain video or audio rendered directly onto the content, definitely no one will listen after 5 minutes. It's a max of 5 minutes they can retain and listen. If I have some interactive games in between, like the Ed puzzle, which can integrate games in between, or just like a simple quizzes, just with 5 minutes content, I can just render one question telling that whether you learned it properly. If the question is yes, I can move forward with the video. If question is wrong, I can just say that you're not learned or listen to the classes. Can you please revisit the video and learn it back? So that's how we can make them to learn clearly with the interest. All this can be done through a motivation given through some simple, we call it as gamification because they are engaged with the content. And also we can render tailored instructions with the students if we really know what are their learning curves. These analytical tools can give us what are the learning curves for individual students. We can track their individual performances, and if we feel that someone is not as good as expected, we can go away with their personally, we can visit them and tell them where they went wrong, and we can proceed with their learning. So, and we can help them to improve their learning pace. And definitely, when we have all these use cases, it increases their learning ability. And I have tried this once in my lab sessions. Normally, I have observed that students, most of the time, whenever we have a PG student course, still we know that PG students also use AI for generating the codes. I teach big data analytics, wherein I had AI can be used inside the lab. Uh, since we have all the options as an autonomous college, we have options to integrate anything onto the lab. So I just tried out whether I can integrate AI back to the classes, regular labs, because my interest of big data analytics was not teaching the code rather than understanding what the logic is, how the contents are delivered in between. So I observed that for first two labs, so they were just trying to copy the codes from ChatGPT, paste it onto the rendered editors, then render the results. Fewer times I observed that students were so lazy that they will never paste the codes from the ChatGPT. They were trying to copy paste it from their friends' systems, just like mail them, get it downloaded, and paste it back to the code. So I just introduced them, telling that from today, open the ChatGPT, use your codes directly on the ChatGPT, utilize it on your lab, but be careful that I'll be checking you and I'll be asking what are the changes I need with the answers, because it's a coding content and I know exactly what should be rendered back. So each time I asked the questions, they were able to find the answers, and I said them, use the ChatGPT. Don't worry whether coding are really remembered. You can use the ChatGPT, but learn how the prompt can be given. So this exercise helped me to know that students are interested to go back to the ChatGPT and change their rendering prompts so that they can get a better result. This also improved their learning and utilization of the AI, but I kept an eye that ethically it is perfect. No one will copy the content directly as it is. I set them some modifications so that it can help to understand it better. Hope this will answer the question how AI can be used in
Yeah.
our day-to-day learning.
Yeah, exactly. AI, it's not just a copy paste tool, but it's also a way of enhancing your skills if you use it ethically,
Yeah,
then, right? Okay. So in my classroom also, I have experienced that some of the platforms like Kahoot I have used during for the quizzes, they are differentiating the content, the assessments are differentiated, tailored according to the needs. So in this way, some of the tools are really helping the teachers and the students to tailor the content according to the readiness of the students. So AI is a boon and is a, kind of helping hand for us. Yeah. So back to Miss Pallavi, your question was incomplete. So will you please tell it once again? So I will just tell the question. How can principals support teachers in using AI tools to deliver personalized learning, timely feedback, and meaningful project-based experiences without adding to their workload? You are on mute, Miss Pallavi.
Am I
Yeah,
audible now?
yeah,
Yeah, I
perfect.
apologize. I don't know. There was some reason. I
Okay,
just was
no
out of the
issues.
room.
Yeah,
So let me complete my answer. As I
yeah.
told that there's already a lot of workload on the teachers. So it's important to first of all tell them that AI is there to help them. There are different applications for planning lessons. And as you said, differentiation is very important. And that is a huge task. Not every student is same. Differentiation is very important and it is difficult to implement differentiation, whether you're planning a lesson or executing it in the class. So there are applications available which can help teacher plan their lessons well differentiated along with the assessments which are also differentiated, so it ultimately reduces all the time and effort that was going when you did it manually. So it's kind of a, it's a help, as you said, it's a helping hand for the teachers. So first and foremost thing is to train the teachers, tell them what variety of applications are available. For example, even if any teacher wants to, for example, teacher is teaching DNA in science. Now we frequently need to give context, examples, and analogs to teach things. So there are applications which can give you ideas of creating analogs for the concept that you're going to teach. For example, this Flexi AI or Magic School or Goblin Tools. There are certain apps which will help teachers in a variety of ways to plan their lessons from scratch. So if you tell the teachers, if you introduce certain apps which are good to use and you train them well for that, it is going to reduce the workload, and naturally teachers will be embracing and going forward towards using more and more AI, towards using more applications into their working. So leaders can of course plan the entire training, select good applications, and get their staff well trained to use the applications, which would ultimately enhance the entire teaching process.
Yes, very well said. Actually, the leaders play a vital role in supporting the teachers and reducing their workload as well as providing a good learning for the students. Okay, so the next question is for Ms. Gayatri. How can AI tools support project-based learning and help students work on real-life problems or creative projects?
Yeah, as I was mentioning previously, project-based learning is the best method to teach AI, is, for that matter, any kind of concept. That is what I believe in, because in my experience, I've seen kids. So instead of you making them sit and, I mean, yeah, concept, I'm making them understand the concept is very, very important. But how we are doing it, whether we are giving just the knowledge, or are we giving real life examples, real life scenarios, and then if they're able to make the connect between the two. So why we are using only this tool, or why we are using only this method? So let them question and then find the best way forward. So I think project based learning helps them doing this, because they're after middle school and after this age, they're going to go out and into the world, and then so many colleges are nowadays, they're offering artificial intelligence and machine learning. So they should not choose it out of compulsion, or because it is trending or so they should know the background, why it is important for them to learn, have a basic about artificial intelligence. Because now if you go out and name it, any possible thing in the world is connected to AI. So the other day we were attending a conference which happened in Vishakhapatnam, the artificial intelligence conference that happened here. So it's rapidly growing. The experts from the industry, they are expressing that it's rapidly growing, and at the same time, so many new aspects of AI are coming into life. So, for example, agentic AI is now, it is like booming like anything. So those many applications, by the time these kids go out, it no more as it's no more a need, I mean, something that they wish to learn. It's a need, it is becoming a need. So it's very, very important that we give them that exposure from this level. And the best way to do is to with a project based learning. So why I am so much fantasized with project based learning is because when we train kids for international competitions, the recent competition that we have trained is a British International Education Association. It's a STEM competition. So where they have to choose a problem, real life problem that they were given. So how to feed forward, like with the limited amount of resources, food resources available, or the limited amount of land available. How can we feed more number of students, more number of people in the world? That is the problem. That is a very, very pressing problem in the world. So they have to go and research, and do a lot of research, meet people, collect information from them. And the best part I've seen them is, even those kind of bodies, they're encouraging students to use AI to do more research, at the same time validate their data, whatever the data that they have collected, or whatever models that they are creating for the competition. And so they have to mention it in the competitions, what platforms that they have used, what are the prompts that they have used to create such kind of information. So all this, they were encouraging. So it's very wonderful to see even such international bodies encouraging small kids to come up with such ideas. So project-based learning, when we are talking about, so it doesn't only teach us the concept to them, at the same time, so they can start thinking in a problem as a problem solver. So they can use the applications of design thinking, like right from identifying a correct problem to solve, which they are interested in, and finding different ways of different solutions to solve it, and whether the problem is clearly solving the actual problem, the solution is really solving the actual problem. So all these can be integrated when they are going for project based learning. So this we have clearly seen in the classrooms as well. So instead of giving them lots and lots of work to do, or things to read, so if we give them a project to do, in the meanwhile, while they start doing itself, while exploring, they learn a lot. That experiential learning is more important than what we give as a theory. That is what I feel. And so there are so many tools that we can use. As I've mentioned, one is machine learning for kids. Google's Teachable is another beautiful um, uh, platform that can be used to create more projects where they can work on real life problems. That's what I think.
Yeah, well said on the platforms and the project-based learning, experiential learning. I think you covered most of the applications which the AI provide. Uh, but I would like to encourage you, I mean, I would like to prove your point that how these platforms are being, teaching the students to be more ethical in their usage. Can
Yeah,
you
so when
just,
you, yeah, when you,
uh,
when we are encouraging students, that's why I told about the British international
hmm,
competition, right? So even then, even though they were encouraging kids to use the artificial intelligence platforms to make their models, at the
mhm.
same time, they're also encouraging them to disclose what platforms that they have. Academic honesty is what we call, right? So that
Oh,
is very, very important for them, because so they also will learn, kids also will learn, it's not just using, but it's being honest about it is also very important.
okay. Nice. Okay, so my next question is for Ms. Pallavi. What steps do school principals need to take at policy level to ensure that teachers receive proper training on the ethical use of AI in the classroom? You're on mute.
Am I audible now?
Yeah, you are
Okay.
audible.
So, we have already talked a lot about the use of AI into teaching learning process, how to train the teachers. But not just the usage is important, it's important to be ethical while using it. It's important to understand the integrity and how you can take care of the ethics for using AI. Just as Ms. Gayatri also said, that the students are being asked to disclose the platforms from where they have taken the content. So this is important, that when you're copying a content or you're taking something which some other person has worked upon, it's the effort that that third person has made, and you're taking the content, then it's important to give the credits. We must acknowledge that XYZ person has done it. It should be acknowledged, the credit should be given, and then you can use it. So that's ethics that should be included. And teachers must be aware of this ethics. Just like when we live in a city, we are called citizens, and there are certain responsibilities, fundamental duties, like we say. So similarly, when we are using internet, we are netizens, and there are ethics that are that are to be taken care of. So when you are using AI, when you're encouraging your teachers to learn and use variety of applications and contents that is available on the internet, you must train them that what is the ethics of using it. We can also, on the policy level, school or the school leaders can select certain apps, create guardrails that XYZ thing can be done and this cannot be done. If you're using something, as I told, you need to give credits, or there should be certain limitations that if you're copying a content, they should plagiarism should be avoided. If you're creating something, then instead of just copy or pasting things, you can use applications like Thesis5, where you can create your own content and analyze it, whether it stands proper on the rubrics and the standards that are to be met. So we can encourage teachers on these things. We can include all these into the training process so that teachers also understand what is ethics of using AI or using this technology and internet things. So I think on the leadership level, it's important to incorporate this into the training so that the teachers are aware of these things.
Yeah, very well said that the teachers must be also aware of the ethics so that they are training the students well about it. And yeah, moving ahead with our next question to Mr. Shailesh. What new skills do educators need to effectively use AI in the classroom, and how can higher education institutions contribute to equipping future teachers with these skills?
Okay. There are two flavors of questions here. One is what's the educators need to be, how they need to be known to the AI, and what's the higher level, how they contribute to the teachers. Uh, Herein, we basically, as a teacher, will be a regular users of AI. So we may not be completely knowing what is machine learning or NLPs or data analytics, but simply we may be directly using artificial intelligence as a ChatGPT or any other sorts of tools. I hearly here I neatly checked in that as a regular educator, we should be clear on the basic contents of AI, whether it is really utilizing AI or just they are just concentrating on simple algorithms and displaying the results. So we may need to know what are the simple basics on AI. Then we need to understand what and all tools are really helpful for us to use these AI tools for our practice and teaching practices. As Madam said that at the beginning, she said that most of the users use Canva, and Canva normally free for 12 K-12 educators, and we have plenty of tools in Canva which can be used for our teaching purpose. Simply as slides preparations can be done interactively, very clearly with those Canva tools. We can integrate them onto our practices, and even when we build our syllabus content, we can definitely use AI tools to get an overall idea on the real world entities and what are the feedbacks that everyone gives on with the syllabus contents. Normally, what we learn is directly from the known contents of us. We may not be gathering everything from all the contents. In that cases, we can use these AI environments or LLMs to gather what are the trendy contents which can be incorporated back onto the syllabus. So this is where even we use this to understand what are the practical components can be added on to the syllabus. Normally, we prepare syllabus for our autonomous contents, wherein we were good at preparing the contents, but we normally fail on understanding whether this particular coding contents or practical sessions can be added and whether it can be completed within the stipulated time. Say it may be 2 hours. Can we complete it within the 2 hours? In that cases, we definitely go on with the AI and we will cross check whether it works fine, whether it generates the codes, and we will try to copy that code and check whether it works fine. And later we can alter these codes and make a proper question out of the given content, which can help us to prepare the syllabus clearly. And we regularly use this for preparing our scenario-based questions, which definitely helps with this LLM. And coming back to learning, uh, from the teacher's point of view, as Madam said that, as Gayatri Madam clearly said that project-based learning will definitely help us. And I have been to a project-based learning from Wipro, wherein it was just to upskill our training with .NET full stack, wherein we had a rigorous training for 3 weeks, which was again online, and wherein we were given with a tool called as Metal, wherein we were able to write some codes, and it's with AI, because whenever I switch on the tabs, it completely vanishes the screen, wherein they have integrated AI so that we are not allowed to copy anything from any sources. And the last exam for certification was purely AA based, wherein we are not allowed to move around. If we move around, it will be corrupted, and we need to create a project which is completely on what she said, this project based learning, right? We call it as PBL, project based learning, wherein I clearly got an idea that project based learning will definitely make someone to start learning clearly. And this can be clearly incorporated for the students. They can use any tools to learn this. This is what I feel that a teacher can utilize contents. And even I went on with one use case wherein I was using quizzes for regular quizzes and Quizlets for getting a basic idea of what students know. Recently, I went on with Pick a Wheel, wherein it helps us to, it's a website called as Pick a Wheel, wherein I can utilize it for getting teams to be generated randomly, or it can be organizing some webinars or say seminar selections for a group of students. I had a scenario wherein I want to give 60 students with 60 seminar topics. Rather than randomly selecting the topics, I just made it as a fun game wherein each one was called to the stage and I made them to select each topic. So each time they select a topic, other topics are given for other students, and the selected topics was just vanished from the list of projects. So that's where they also got engaged, and that's where I just changed the regular mapping of getting a Excel sheet and spread it across the class. Rather than that, this was just interesting, and that's where we use the AI for integrating into the class. And coming back to what should be done from uh, uh, the higher levels, like what to be done by higher education institutions. Normally, they need to educate teachers with multiple trainings, and one such was with that Wipro's training. I really got a better idea on what is that project-based learning, how it is effective. And recently, I also went on with one more training, which was from IUCCE, wherein it was a 12-month complete training wherein we were given with multiple assignments. That's where I felt that writing assignment is not so easy as we give for students. It's so difficult to write a perfect assignment and submit it on time. That's the proper criteria they had. Assignment should be completely submitted on time with proper results, no plagiarism. And generating those, even though we had AI, was so difficult. Even though I use AI, I would have been caught out. That's the reason I need to generate it, revent, recheck everything, and give back the content. And a higher authorities normally go on with such training programs to everyone. And if they have such FTPs, then definitely it will help for teachers to utilize these AI tools. There are experts who can teach AI tools which are most helpful for even research and collaborations. If we are able to attend those collaborative uh, FTPs, then definitely it will help us to do some collaborative research also. These are the general contents which I can say that which can be effectively used for both as from the teacher's point of view and from the higher institutions point of view to upskill the teachers learning. Hope I answered
Definitely.
the question.
Yeah, definitely. The project-based learning and this training the teachers, the higher education institution, how they are incorporating the trainings are really helping the teachers to get equipped with all these skills, right? Yeah. So the next question is for Ms. Gayatri. Why is it important for teachers to understand the ethical uses related to AI, like bias and data privacy?
Yeah, it's very very important. It goes without saying because ethics, like data privacy and bias, and not only that, so the thing that we have discussed, economic honesty, and when something AI is generating something, so who is the owner of it? So if you are if you are using some prompts and you are generating some image, some music, or something, so who is the owner of it? So whether it is AI or we because we gave the prompts. So all these are points for discussion. So not only for teachers, even for the students. So first, I think the management, the school leadership, and teachers have a mutual understanding and what is okay and what is not okay to be done in the school, and what is ethical in their own terms. Because sometimes ethical is a very tricky word. So something which is ethical to me might not be ethical to somebody else. So the school as a entity has a clear understanding, should have a clear understanding of what is okay or what is to be considered ethical or what is not ethical, to be clear with. And then, yeah, so when it comes to bias, if the data that we are trying to collect, it is not refined, then obviously the outcome is going to be biased. So that should be very clear, and before even the collecting the data itself, the clear data collection process should be very, very refined. So for example, a teacher is using AI to create a grading system based on their marks. So if the input itself is wrong, so then the output obviously, but if bias, if you are giving biased information, the output is going to be biased. So that clarity, that kind of training should be given to the teachers in the beginning, so that they can use the information correctly without any bias. At the same time, so when we are talking about so data privacy, what are the things that are private to you and that need not and should not be used anywhere else, or which should not be shared? So this with or without AI, it should be a standard point in any kind of organization. So that is why when we are encouraging somebody to join our organization, or when somebody is leaving, we made them make sure that they're not taking any private information or sensitive information. So the same thing applies to the students as well. So when teachers are clear with what is okay and what is not okay, whether the data is biased or the output is getting biased or not, or the sensitive information being shared, or the ethical point of view, who should be the owner of the created content. So all these points should also be transferred to the kids when the teaching is being done. Otherwise, because they are going to be the future generation. So if the right age, if they're learning along with the technology, if they're learning what is good and what is wrong, what is okay and what is not okay, so then going forward, it will be easy for them to decide what is good for them and what is not.
Yeah, very true. We have to teach the students how to be ethical users of AI, and
Yes.
they have to instill this ability of using correctly, not sharing their private data, and not getting involved in something which is unethical on internet. So right now we have completed our 9 questions with all the panelists. Thank you so much for for sharing your thoughtful insights and practical experiences. Now we have our question and answer round. So I request the audience to ask your questions, any queries you have. We can answer you back. We'll just wait for the audience to give their questions. One question is there. How does AI impact school children thinking and creativity? Yes, anyone from the panelists, can you please answer this question?
So maybe I think we should always take AI as a tool than replacing a human mind. So of course, creativity. So we should see where we are using the AI. So generally, what we tell children in the class is AI is to help you, not to replace you. So we should clearly have a line. So for what all things kids should be using AI, definitely it should not be impairing their creativity. We should encourage them to think first, and then maybe later to make it refine or more presenting. So we should encourage them to AI. use AI. That bifurcation should be very clear.
Yes, they should be taught how to use as well. I mean, what is the use as well as how to use it. Both are important. Okay, so I would like to, any other question in the Q&A? We'll wait one more minute. Okay, so I would like to thank all the panelists for your insightful thoughts and your practical experiences which you have shared. I think that has really enlightened all of us with, the practical knowledge of AI, its uses, its ethical uses, its popularity, how it is gaining popularity, and how it is being included in students' learning. So, as we close this session, I encourage all of you to go back to your schools, to your community, and discuss, reflect on the takeaways, and just try to, implement, inculcate the ethical use of AI with your student, your child's learning. It may be your student, it may be your own child, but you have to encourage how the AI can be made an integral part of their learning. So, on behalf of everyone here, thank you once again, all the panelists and each one of you for being part of this important discussion. We'll close the session here. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Thank you all.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank you, sir.